This is part of why I like. I know this is such a big jump now, but this is part of why I like Travis Scott's music, bro.
Oh,
this is why I like Travis Scott, bro.
I love Travis Scott's
music. Man, I think he's dope, bro.
And I love Posty as well. Like that whole kind of thing is
coming
up now.
That's why I like them, though.
Don't sleep on Posty. Yeah, he's sick.
He's dope. I've just done a film of him.
No.
Yeah, the film I did called Cash Trunk with Guy Ritchie.
I mean, this is just like the...
Yeah.
What do you think I'm dealing with here? What do you think this is?
Killa Kela Podcast. KillaKelaOfficial.com.
Killa Kela Podcast Live Show. Step into the live and dangerous world of music and street culture's #1 magazine platform, the Killa Kela Podcast Live Show. Special guests alongside performances, news, reviews, profile pieces to a live studio audience. Your monthly live stream is here. Hit Facebook page Killa Kela Official.
Instagram UK Frontline.
101.4 FM, 24 hours a day, all genres.
FlexFM.co.uk.
THTC, the UK's leading ethical streetwear label. Organically grown and ethically built garments from hemp, organic cotton and other sustainable materials. 2019 is their 20th anniversary year. Join me with THTC as a Killa Kela podcast sponsor celebrating music, social activism, hemp and street culture. THTC, eco-fashion redefined since 1999.
Beatbox created.
Killa Kela.
And we're here to talk about world music and street culture.
Killa Kela Podcast.
Guy. Yes, my guy. Well, here we are again. Live and direct, Central London, as central as you need to be. Big shout out to Graffiti Kings. And my place is like a transitional movement of constant artistry and awesomeness coming through. So be sure to check out the Killa Kela Podcast on a weekly. Subscribe, do all that business. And today we have a good friend of mine, Alessandro Babalola, inside the place.
My guy. What you saying?
How are you?
Yeah, very well, bro. Just doing good. Good to be here, man.
Yeah.
As I've told you before, this is my dad's end. My dad grew up in Kensal Rise, so whenever I come back here, it always feels very sort of profound.
Does it feel like homely? Yeah?
Definitely. It's a second home to me.
Really?
So yeah. If I was to like rack up London, I'd say East is home, North and Northwest share equal billing as my second home. Ooh. Yeah, and then there's no more homes. It's just that. You know where I'm coming from?
East and West.
Yeah, East is home, and then North and Northwest. Northwest and North, particularly NW10. In fact, let me actually be more specific.
Yeah, you have to, yeah.
East is home, and then North and the NW10 postcode area are my second home.
See, this is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very well versed in terms of culture because, like, there are significant differences between East and West.
Oh, yeah.
For real. Like,
yeah, man, big time.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
the art scene of the East sides to, grime, obviously. Yeah. But then the West side, like that early reggae influences and the sound systems.
Yeah, Harlesden and that as well.
Media.
Like Northwest, Notting Hill and Carnival. Yeah, man. A lot of differences. But... dude, I mean, I love London. Like I say it all the time. I'm like a London fanatic, dude. I've got T-shirts that say London on them. Like just as we speak, and my friend is making me T-shirts that say like East Central London on them, just for some shows I got coming up. Because my brother's a rapper. Shout out Raptum, sit rapper.
Old tight Raptum.
Yeah, man.
Old tight in the
He's
place.
Very,
you know
very,
you're
very
watching.
dope.
You know what it is.
Yeah, and like all the sort of the different cultural touchstones that you can find in every area, as you said with East, the grime, and like even like the jungle with East London as well, and the sort of
deep jungle.
I mean, dude, but and then even North London, man, I can't ever forget to shout out North because bro, Sade, North London, Soul to Soul, North London. Like for me, Soul to Soul,
that is
alone.
That is North London.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Amy Winehouse, North London. George Michael, North London. North London has got, and then Skepta, Jamie, Chipmunk.
Yeah, they're Tottenham.
Yeah, exactly. North London's got a rich scene. But obviously, I'm an East boy, so Dizzy, Wiley, D Double. These are all my guys, you know.
Dude.
Hey, no. Yeah.
I mean, these are peppers of like names that have just influenced and dominated pop culture in the last 5 years. It's mad, isn't it? How these small incubated scenes, they blow up using the most by any means necessary.
Yeah, they do. Big time.
It's beautiful.
It's incredible. And I just think London as a city, its potential for creative excellence is just like, dude, you ever go back and listen to Boy in the Corner?
It's crazy.
Dude.
It's crazy.
As a tapestry.
I can't cope when I listen to it.
I was speaking to a friend of mine the other day and he told me that, you know, well, in fact, I wasn't speaking about that. I was speaking about treading on thin ice. Wiley's album.
Which was slept on pretty
Yeah,
severely.
it was slept on, and because I sent him a track from it called "Got Somebody Now," and he was like, I wasn't really feeling it. I said, I can only say that maybe at the time what that song came around, at the time when grime was really finding itself as a genre, you know, grime had a lot of experimentation in it. I said to him, all I can say is that you weren't of age at the time to hear this and feel a resonance.
Thank you.
Do you understand what I mean? When I
Thank
hear that shit, bro, it resonates with me because it resonates with the way East London was at that time. I remember it so well, and it just takes me straight back. And this is what I think is amazing about music. It carries that nostalgic magic, bro. It carries nostalgic magic.
I found the whole thing amazing, the way that the sound of that era was defined on maybe 2 or 3 poignant sounds, like the snare of Wiley. That esky snare. It's just, you still can't match that now.
Nah, bro. You can't, man. It's like... It's such a potent snare, man. It snaps, but it snaps with so much skip. You know that skippy flow
with
when
the
they
tone that's on a
dude, I'm telling you, man. It's like sometimes I hear snares and I feel like they land too heavily, and it doesn't allow the song to ride on with enough sort of skip, essentially, of that bounce. But you see what it was about those Wiley snares and just his drums in general, and also just the bit sounds he used, the samples he used, just the samples he used.
It's cool, you don't need to
All right, cool. The samples he used.
Yeah.
It meant that his beats and his flow just skipped along effortlessly.
Smashed it, bro.
And I was watching his Westwood freestyle from 2008 yesterday, and like I just thought, okay, yeah, the Stormzy beefs happen, and everybody thinks Stormzy's won, but it doesn't matter what Stormzy does here. Wiley's achievements and his legacy are so far-reaching, so sort of monumental in terms of the history of UK music. There's almost, you could say, when he sings for people, it's literally sport. He can't truly be beaten in a grand sense of the word. Beaten. You can only have him in a little bout. But if we're talking, I haven't heard anybody spit like the way he spits in that Westwood freestyle. I think he's incredible.
And with still aggression and passion.
Clarity. The clarity, the aggression, the passion, but also just the sort of, he seems like a sensei. He's got this bar when he says, you know, it's unusual, but I talk to the dead. And I just think that sums him up. Man said it's unusual, but I talk to the dead. He's trying to make a point to you, like, I'm not like you guys. I talk on a different level. And the thing is, he called another one, he calls himself the most unusual star on the planet. He is so unusual, man. I was talking to my boy the other day, I said, Wiley is so different.
He is.
I do think in terms of character, in terms of like idiosyncrasies, etc., he is the most alternative in terms of the way his character comes across of every star in London.
Challenging, for sure.
Very challenging. You watch his interviews, dude, he's interrupting the interviewer. He's correcting things the interviewer says. He's going on tangents. He's so frank. He's so frank, bro.
He's triggered all the time.
Dude, all the time. He's always like, it seems like he's leading the interview. I just don't think there's any other stars like him. I don't think there's anybody like Wiley. And I mean... Shout out to Wiley, man. I just think he's a legend.
No one else will actually say what they think. And that's music in general. There's a sanitizing of like... whereas back in the day, there used to be like certain genres that commanded like saying what they thought. Hip-hop was definitely it. Punk was definitely it. Like, and the fusion of those things, like Public Enemy, come on. Like nowadays, music is kind of like a soft...
Yeah, I hear that, man.
You know what I mean?
I completely agree. It does feel like the sort of the anti-establishment quality of music. What punk is, you're essentially to rebel and to have your say. It does seem like it's gone. Back in the day, there were so many more musicians whose music felt like it wasn't fit for the artist receiving an OBE. Do you know where I'm coming from? Like nowadays, all artists receiving OBEs and whatever, but like you couldn't give the Sex Pistols an OBE in the heyday. You couldn't give the grime lot, and do you know some people have argued that it's sort of big, sort of lofty recognitions that kill this sort
That's
of...
what I'm... As you were saying, I was just...
Yeah, man.
There's a formula that people have suddenly fallen mercy to kind of keep the money pullers happy.
Indeed, bro. And if you think of like... I mean, would grime have ever died out if Dizzy never won the Mercury Prize?
Controlling that shit.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, Skepta won it as well, right? So there's all these...
He won it later, yeah. And he actually once said that he thinks the BBC were responsible. He didn't like whatever radio station it was linked to the BBC that was that had such a stronghold in grime. He said that he feels in some ways like that was it contributed to the sort of the dilution of grime and the eventual temporary death before the re-up with Meridian Dan.
Yes.
Shut down.
The whole Meridian crew. I
man.
do feel like, in one sense, he's right, but let's look at the journey of most genres. They have their time in the sun.
Yeah.
And ultimately, they're not going to last that way.
True.
Nothing lasts that way.
It's true.
It does diversify. I mean, drum and bass has diversified a hell of a lot. You know what I mean? When you think about the UK Apache days and then going now into like Sigma, you know what I mean? And chasing status.
Big
And,
time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just changed and evolved. And one thing that you do have to have your stars. You have your boys in the corner and you have your Esky beats. They're always going to be like the things that people remember.
Yeah.
But there needs to be growth, and I think there needs to be those stars like Skepta coming through and
Big time.
Lethal Bizzle and you know what I mean?
Hell yeah, I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
Or else it just doesn't last.
It doesn't, man. I mean, I guess the only thing as an artist you can do, regardless of what kind of art you do, is to really try and stay true to yourself.
Yeah, you have to.
Because ultimately, I feel like the only thing that can kill an artist is when they lose touch of who they are. And you know, that happens in a number of ways. It happens through corporate sort of corporate grooming. So like that's the big mainstream labels getting a hold of you. Another way it happens is drugs. A lot of artists lose themselves to drugs.
It's true.
Do you not agree?
And actors too.
Yep, yeah, they're actors, musicians. I don't think people realise the extent to which, you know, in the movie School of Rock, right, of Jack Black, there's this one scene where the little boy goes to join a bunch of like cool rockers, whatever, and he tries to explain to him how pointless it is to do drugs, because he says that as much as it seems like you're cool and whatever, the brutal truth of the matter is drugs actually kill your potency. That's the truth. I believe they genuinely kill your potency as an individual.
Potencies. Define to potencies.
So, you know, as an artist, man, an artist is a warrior, so to speak. They're taking what they do to the front line and they're saying, let's fucking go. Do you fuck with this or not?
Come on, talk that
Do you understand
shit.
what I'm trying to say, bro? That's what you're doing as an artist. So as an actor, if you do a performance, you're taking it to the front line. You're saying, what's good?
Exposing,
right?
come on.
You're exposing yourself. As a musician, as a beatboxer, as a guitarist, as a painter, whatever you do, you're always taking your art to the front line. But you can't take anything to the front line if you're not sharp. Right, you would never be sent to battle if you're unfit to battle.
And people can see it. They can see when you're sluggish. They can see when
There we go. Now it's the same thing with all kinds of artists. Now, you can't take work to the front line if you're not sharpening your tools effectively in the background, if you're not preparing, if you're not fit. Now the thing is,
mentally, physically, creatively.
There we go. So what I think about artists when they first come into the game, all kinds of artists, is that when they come in, they're younger and they're fresher and therefore they're hungrier. And that hungriness manifests itself in the sort of the amount of effort they give, how razor sharp they are. Normally they seem quite raw because they haven't been corporately groomed yet. And they also haven't been caught by any external influences that will eventually dim and sort of blunt the sharpness of their tool. So like, if we take it back to like, I'm not going to use any artist as an example because I don't want to do that. In fact, I'm going to use somebody. I'm going to use Jean-Michel Basquiat, right?
Okay,
the famous painter, okay? When he first came in, dude, he was sharp.
I'm fucking it up.
Off the streets. Visions were unreal. People couldn't fuck with him. He didn't even want corporate grooming. He was just in there, whacking up paintings, you know what I mean? Left, right, and centre, like killing the whole world of his work, right? And then the money came in. But the money didn't ruin him as such because he was still had all these really cool ideas like, you know, fuck it, I'm going to buy Armani suits but not wear socks. I'm just going to be bare feet with these Armani suits, and you're going to see me painting in these famous suits. I'm wearing these suits like they're fucking overalls.
Overalls, exactly.
That's what he's doing. That was cool. That was like, all right, cool. My guy still wants to be ahead of the curve. Like, he's not like these other dudes. Everybody coming in their black turtleneck. That's the classic artist look like. But he went a different way of it. And then as it goes on, essentially the hedonism begins. You know, when you've got a lot of money and you've had a lot of success, the capacity to which your ability to chase pleasure just heightens because you have more money. Therefore, you can afford bigger drugs, you can afford to party more, you can afford to essentially run a party. And what I mean by that is you're gonna bring a bunch of girls and buy everybody drinks. You start to become so like, almost like, it's the autonomy it gives you means you start to act with a lot
and
of
you
like...
fold in on yourself.
You fold in on yourself. And all those drugs, like, I mean, I don't even really want to list this drug because I smoke it, but I'm not a regular with it. Weed, you know, okay, and then we go to the harder drugs, the cocaine, the pills, everything like that. All that it does is, as much as it might give you a rush in a moment, it does have the effect of sort of, it just kills your potency. So, for example, that musician, coming back to Jean-Michel Basquiat, sorry, bro, I speak on a lot of tangents. It's just my mind works.
Podcast fodder.
Yeah,
Amazing.
exactly.
I'm riding your wave, bro. I'm riding your wave.
Coming back to Jean-Michel Basquiat, he started to lose the urge to paint because there was nothing necessarily real he was chasing anymore. It was pleasure, and you can't just chase pleasure.
Yeah, that's right.
The chasing of pleasure only inspires so much art. It's only so long before people get tired of hearing you talk about being on come downs and hearing you talk about girls and that. The substance is what brought them in.
That's what happens when people do albums. The first album is like raw as fuck as raw.
Exactly.
But when it comes to the second album, the dubious second album, they've done the touring, they've done the girls, they've done the drugs, and all of a sudden they're talking about things that people can't relate to.
Big time.
That's a real problem, isn't it?
It is a real problem, and also the way it slows you. Like, for example, the ability to answer quickly, to have somebody ask you a question and be able to deduce what they've said, and then go cool. And then even as an artist, the ability to come up with razor sharp rhymes. You know, as a rapper or as an actor, to be able to find that interesting delivery that will make you stand out amongst the rest. To what extent are you as open to those little sparks of magic? If your creative core has somewhat been dimmed by how much drugs you're doing. Like, the best person for me to use as an example is Sly Stone. Sly and the Family Stone. What's the group called again?
Oh my God! No,
But him,
yeah,
Sly Stone.
I know you talking about.
Sly Stone. Oh man, I think I'm not Sylvester Stallone. The soul musician, Sly and the Family, blah blah blah. Yeah, Sly Stone, him, right? Cool.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, you got it.
All right, so basically, dude, he was like the most revolutionary soul funk musician of all time. Some people see him as the inventor of funk. And he was unbelievable. And he had this band, and he was the lead of it, and he was the multi-instrumentalist. He was essentially the musical genius. But as time went on, everybody knows, it's no secret, his drug addiction got worse and worse and worse. Until by the end of it, his music had no punch to it. And people, you know, when he was in his early days, he was witty, he was charming, he was smooth. You know, he was chill, but he could be quick if he had to be. Nowadays, he's just essentially a zombie. And that sounds a horrible thing to say, but it's the truth because that's what the drugs have done to him. Yeah. He's still got that genius brain in there, but he's not in the gym anymore. It's like, I see it like getting fat. It's like your mind.
Calcifying your shit.
Indeed, calcifying him, exactly.
Yeah.
All these drugs, it can make your mind fat. So, yeah.
So it starts with something, but it starts with a really great idea. Oh, cool, I'm going to do some drugs. Wow, that was amazing. But this thing suddenly chases up on you and it immerses you as a habit and then, then outweighs your output.
Yep. And I think, and you know what, yeah, the reason why I'm talking about this is because I don't think enough artists discuss the downside of drugs. Look, artists, we've all done drugs. That's a fact of life, right? But I think this whole thing of trying to sell it as a luxury all the time is just really problematic because there's young kids out here who will never be artists, who will never have the money that artists who are successful end up having. Yeah. And are being inspired by lyrics and et cetera, and I'm purposely not naming names, but they're inspired by people who are like telling them in their lyrics, try this, try this, and then they're trying it and just sometimes just dying.
Fucking this shit up, yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to sound like the uncle.
But also wasting the fuck out of their money.
Yep, exactly.
Oh my God, like...
So this is not me saying don't do drugs. This is me saying if you're going to do them, you need to be safe.
Yeah.
Safe.
And irregular.
Yeah, irregular, man.
Irregular.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Socially, on a good time, occasionally, but definitely not on a daily like you're brushing your teeth. Yeah. That is not the way to do it. I'll just leave that there.
Do you drink?
No, I actually don't drink at all. I'm teetotal. I just smoke weed. That's my thing.
How does that work? Because I at times could be the complete opposite, and sometimes it's just like escapism. What's your escapism?
Mine is weed.
Is it? Yeah.
I'll tell you what my escapism is, bro. It's smoking weed and listening to incredible music. Legit. Yeah. Like, dude, my thing is I put my earphones in, and sometimes I do it with somebody. I like to sometimes offer other people this experience. That's how much I enjoy it. I might say to somebody, let's meet up. And and then I bring my pipe and I bring my flipping lighter and a weed, and I have my earphones in, and I'll give them. They'll have their earphones. I don't even play the music out loud. We have to both have earphones in.
Oh, sick.
You
See,
what
this
I'm
is
saying? 'Cause
already
I
the
want
bubble.
to be in the music.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to have the music coming at me.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, playing the music out loud leaves too much room for conversation. If I'm trying to enjoy the song,
Listen to the fucking tune. I agree.
No disrespect, I don't want to
Dude,
talk.
that was so true.
You know what I'm coming
Yeah.
from? Just listen. There's nothing worse for me than somebody playing a song and pausing and going,
No,
blah, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah,
no.
or just ask me something random when the song is on.
No.
Did you manage to see that thing last? Can you ask me that later?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is a moment, all right?
Yeah,
I
man.
feel that.
There we go. And that's how I escape, dude. And I go on long walks. Long walks. I live in North London. I've lived there now for a while. I've lived there for nearly 2 years. From East, born and raised, but yes, I do live in North now. And, dude, on a day when maybe I'm kind of bored, this is now irrespective of weed. I don't even need weed to do this. I'll put my earphones in at night, go out to an area that's very far on the edge of London, i.e. Cockfosters.
Oh, yeah, way up.
Way out, yeah, and walk around just for ages in these streets that are just dark with nobody else in them, with big, beautiful houses all around me. And the reason why I do it, bro, is because every now and then I like to feel like I've just disappeared, man. And it's a weird feeling, but it's like in this age whereby accessibility is at an all-time high. If you can't reach me on my Twitter, you can try me on Instagram. You can't try me on my Instagram, try me on my phone. You can't try me on phone, try me on iMessage. Just so many ways to get to me.
Yeah.
Going to a place where I'm literally away from everyone and no one knows where I am, something about that temporary invisibility is liberating.
Yeah.
Bro. It's
Beautiful.
just liberating, man. And that's one of the ways I escape.
I would
just
love
lock
to
myself away,
Is that,
bro.
you know what? That is such a good idea. Like, I'm not saying I need escapism, but at times I always find myself, if I've got any time off, I'm finding ways of escaping.
Yeah, man.
And normally that does involve crossing over the road to the pub.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I've never met anybody that does that. Like literally go into a silent mode, a place, purposely get on a bus and just travel the fuck out.
Yeah, bro. That's me entirely. Like,
How's that fix in a relationship way? If like you got misses or something like.
so I used to be in a relationship, but she used to do it with me.
Yeah. Really?
Yep.
And how'd that fare?
It was incredible. I love doing it with her, but ultimately you can't bend other people to live how you live. You got to, you know. No. So I mean, for a multitude of reasons, that relationship came to an end. But in its essence, I still do the things I do. That was still me. Bro, it used to be bike rides. I used to get on a bike and zoom around.
Biking's everything, bro. I used to do biking.
I'm telling you, man. You know.
You get to know a place.
You do, bro. I honestly, man, I think I know London. Like, just from here.
Just with the biking.
I don't live here.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
when I tell you I know this area, well, I know that if I go down there, I'm going to get to flipping Walls.
Exactly.
To
That's
Dollis
bikes,
Hill.
man.
Dude, I'm
Bikes
telling
do
you,
that.
man. Yeah, it is that. Indeed.
Bikes do that.
Bikes are an incredible way to just get around. But also, when you put music in, dude, there was one summer I was going ham, and I was riding from East London all the way down to, like, Beckenham, Southwest.
Whoa.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Or another point, I used to teach in a school in Croydon. I used to teach.
Oh, you cycled down?
writing.
Yeah.
I used to ride from Leighton to Croydon.
Jesus Christ.
Leighton to Croydon. That was 2.5 hours, bro.
Yeah.
Pure burn.
But sometimes you
Music
need
in.
that because what happens is you concentrate on the now.
Yeah, man.
You're not concentrating on what there's because you have to just focus on the now, and that's 2.5 hours well spent of your own time.
And bro, I've been guilty of not being. You know, I sometimes look back and I think to myself. The other day, I had a realization that I spent 2 years of university not being in the present, bro. That was one of the darkest realizations I've ever had.
It's actually it's heartbreaking, isn't it?
Yeah, man.
All that missing opportunity.
I missed my youth, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't miss my youth, but like I wasn't there for it. From 19 to 21, on my life, bro, I wasn't there.
Why is that, do you think?
Because at the age of 19, I went through depression. Just like that. So first year happened. First year was lit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then in the summer between first year and second year, I went through depression. And what that depression did to me was that it took me out of the moment. You know what? I really want to talk about this because I find it very interesting. You know, I feel like you see depression, right? Mm-hmm. It has this effect, okay, of like putting you on autopilot. It puts you on autopilot. So you're not necessarily there to experience anymore. And you almost become somewhat fearful of the extremes in life. So, for example, I was afraid of even having too good a time because I knew that the come down would be too disaffecting.
Oh,
do you know what I mean? So I used to not go parties, didn't go to any parties. I remember I was in uni.
So you was a kid.
Second and third year.
You was a young buck.
I started uni at 18, yeah.
Wow.
I finished at
Wow.
like 20, just about to turn 21. And like,
Wow.
dude, I'm telling you, man, like, I went through that depression in the summer. I was depressed for the whole summer. And I became a bit of a monk. I didn't go outside. I put all of my work into getting top grades. I taught myself how to play piano like an absolute beast because I needed something to meditate with.
So you're piano man?
I'm good on piano, bro. Check my Instagram.
Come on.
I'm good on the keys, man. And basically, dude, I just locked myself away, you know what I mean? And I just wasn't prepared to indulge in friendships because the thing is, as well about depression is it makes it hard for you to trust people because you just about trust your own mind.
Yeah. And your self-esteem's already knocked and you're just,
Yeah, bro. You just about trust your own mind, so you find it very hard to trust other people.
And you know, walking into a social situation, you feel like you're the spotlight's on you.
Hell yeah, bro, you got it.
Yeah.
And there's that, and then there's also what I just said is the fact that, like, you know, because you're always at this, at a low level, you become used to that as your flat line, as your sort of base state. So then it becomes a lack, for me anyway, I'm speaking for myself, I started to lack this desire to actually even have a good time because I thought, no, because if I have too good a time, two reasons. Number one, will I be able to enjoy it?
Yeah.
Because depression puts you in your head all the time.
Yeah.
And the other reason was, if I do enjoy it, the come down is going to hit me too hard. I don't even want to have a good time so that now, when I'm back to feeling depressed, I'm thinking, oh, shit, back to depression. So I thought I'd rather get used to this state than even try and attain other states. So that's what I didn't get therapy or anything at the time. I just lived with it. But the dark thing is that it meant that for second and third year, and even beyond university, I spent about 3 or 4 years, like I would say from 19 to 22, I wasn't present, bro.
You just don't remember it.
And that's
like
a
that.
dark time to not be present. Because you're a baby. But I wasn't present. You know what happened? At 23, my youth kicked off again.
You really into this
And
like
I'm
games.
still in it now.
No,
You know what I'm talking about? And this is the truth, dude. I feel like it's better to live your youth at 23, man.
Yeah. Well, you just know so much more.
No more.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready then. I was confused. I was so confused and I was depressed and I wasn't ready to embrace the world. And a big part of it, if I'm frank with you, is because I went from East London being in all black schools where people understood me and I understood everybody to go into Bournemouth where everybody was white, but not only was everybody white, nobody was really from London. Everybody was from the country.
So you were an outsider.
Big time.
In all areas,
Yeah.
you were just like, this was not your world.
It wasn't not my world.
And you were of
dude.
the age where it was like, those are fundamental. This kind of integrating of your, just socially, that's where you're
Yeah,
really
man.
making your mark, innit?
You got me, bro. And trust me, I felt the difference. Like, look, I'm just going to speak very openly. When I was in East, man, before I went to university, dude, I had girls coming to my house all the time. Sorry, mum. I had girls coming around my mum's house all the time.
Revolutionary shit
It was
going
just,
down
you know,
from
when-
parenthood
It
to...
was just normal. Dude, it was just normal. When I got to university, I was the odd one out. I didn't even have the confidence to go and talk to girls. I didn't because they were so different to me. They were all like, I went there at 18 and not that many people started my university at 18, so I was the youngest for a start. I was literally the youngest. I'm born on August 9th.
Okay.
So there's that.
I'm August 10th.
Hey!
We have to do double birthday parties
Bro,
next one. Come on.
Bro, you're August 10th?
Yeah.
That's my granddad's birthday as well.
Come on,
Special
you know
birthday, bro.
what? We're going to have to do the doubles on
Leo,
birthdays.
fam. Leo. Yeah, I love
yeah.
that. All right, well, basically, dude, like, I'm literally the youngest. So I was 18.
Yeah, I know this feeling.
You know what I'm coming
Yeah,
from
of
now?
course.
A lot of the people that started my uni started at 20. 19 or the back end of 19, so like closer towards, or just 21, 22, just generally older, bro. So there was that. All these women were from like Cornwall and Devon and Reading and Newbury and like Bath and even just up north. But the point is, areas that for me just I didn't know, and they all seem very posh and very well spoken and very like from an entirely different universe to me. And also, essentially, they didn't find me attractive. So, look, in terms of development, bro, I think that was an issue for me, you know, because I'd gone from being surrounded by girls, not that all the girls loved me, it's just that I had access. I was in East London where all the girls were from the world I know, so I'm not saying they all like me, but the point is I could always attract someone. To being able to almost attract nobody. And bro, that put me in a weird psychological state.
And being from that country alone is, you know, you're out in the burbs and you know you get lost in the city, you follow the signs. If you get lost in the woods, you're fucked.
I love that. Bro, I love the way you phrase that. You know? It's the truth. That's the truth. And I didn't have, and I felt lost. I felt lost, man. Like, and I lost myself. I spent 2.5 years in purgatory, bro. Just like,
Oh, that's harsh.
not, bro. Like, no romance, just work.
Because you was an exotic to them in 360,
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
So when you're in that place, it's like, well, where do I belong then? Because
That
I'm
is how I felt.
cat amongst the pigeons almost.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whoa.
And I did feel that, bro. And I only realised yesterday because, you know, obviously I've gone back to Bournemouth is where I studied,
Yeah.
right? So recently I've gone back there a couple of times.
How's it felt?
It's well, dude, it's been quite. This is why I say it was a revelation.
In a better way.
Yeah. So I went back the first time to give them a talk about how I've made it as an actor in my career so far.
Amazing.
The next time I went back to go and watch some third-year shows.
Oh, amazing.
And dude, let me tell you something, man. Going back there, I was sat at a show and I looked around and I thought to myself, I'm almost envious of you guys that you're as young as you are. I mean, I'm not old.
Is it
so
more
I'm in my
multicultural
20s.
there now? Is it more?
It's more multicultural.
Good.
By far. There's more of a black community.
That's good, isn't it?
Well, yeah, way more of a
Stars.
black community, but also more of a London community, bro. Like,
Cool.
when I was there, I was the only East London. Everybody else was from like Slade Green, bro. These parts of London that are like deep South East, for me, are basically Kent.
Yeah,
And like, but I don't want to keep making a colour reference, but it's important because it mattered at the time. I was a young black boy surrounded by only white people, and I didn't, and I was very quintessentially London. And at that time, quintessentially London, I wouldn't call it a compliment. It was almost like something that you didn't want to be. Yeah. No, not even, bruv. Like all that kind of stuff, bro. I was like that.
Oh, right, okay.
I
So
still got a bit of it in me now, and I never want to lose it. But the
Yeah.
point is, it stood in stark contrast to all these home counties kids.
yeah, kind of talking a bit more like that and a bit
Yeah.
more. It's. Hey, listen,
Exactly.
listen, honestly, like each to their own. This is their world, you know, and I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah, man.
I'm from the outside.
Okay, where are you from?
I'm from this place called Billingshurst, which is a small village just by Crawley Way,
So that's south. of
south by
London.
Gatwick. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is this difference. There's this
Uh-huh.
shift in like Crawley is multicultural.
Yeah.
And as you slowly bleed out of Crawley, anything else is like to a lot of people is like it's a turn of events. It's like
Yeah.
wow, like you know, black people in like West Sussex. You know, it kind of mirrors what Bournemouth was about back then.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it probably still is very much the same now.
Yeah.
The villages, those small places, you know what I mean? It goes as far as to say, watching TV, they're getting a more descriptive, you know, society than what they're actually living in. It's a mad one, isn't it? And
It is mad, bro. And man, it's just you don't, dude. You know what's funny about it though, Killa Kela, right? I always thought that I was on top of things. Back when I was lost and confused in university, I didn't know I was. I just thought I was just being a good student by shutting myself away from everybody and not really socializing that much and just working and playing my piano and like just being weird and being a loner because that's what I was being. And I'm sorry if it sounds bad that I just called loners weird because I'm still a loner now, but we are a bit weird.
yeah. Creatives generally.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought I was normal, but I wasn't. And the point I'm trying to make is that I went back to my uni and I saw all these youngsters just in their tribes. And I just thought, because I wasn't in my tribe properly, man. Like, even if I was in a bit of one, I wasn't in it with my whole body. I was looking off a part of my head because I was depressed and essentially living as a frozen version of myself. Like I was in
Whoa,
do you
that
know
is
what I mean?
cool.
Dude.
Yeah, that's amazing. What an analogy.
This is part of why I know this is such a big jump now, but this is part of why I like Travis Scott's music, bro.
Oh,
This is why I like Travis Scott, bro.
I love Travis Scott.
Yeah, man, I think he's dope, bro.
And I love Posty as well. Like that whole kind of thing that's coming up
Bro,
now.
that's why I like them, though.
Don't sleep on Posty. Yeah, he's sick.
He's dope.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
just done a film with him.
No.
Yeah, the film I did called Cash Trunk with Guy Ritchie.
I mean,
He's
this
in
is
it.
just like the,
He's in it. Yeah.
What do you think I'm dealing with here? What do you think this is? This ain't no. Come on.
Yeah, bro, I just done a film with him. But like, coming back to those guys, like, to quickly wrap up the story about uni, I went back and I was spending time with these ladies who were like young Londoners. And like, they were talking to me about the way the uni is now. Don't get me wrong, bro, they feel a sense of displacement as well. They feel something similar to what I felt. The difference is they got each other. I didn't. I had a best friend, a former best friend who was my guiding light throughout university, a woman. And I'm not going to say her name because I don't need to be doing that. But the point is there was a woman who was my best friend and I love her. I still love her to this day. And she was my guiding light. Without her, I would not have been able to see my way throughout that university. Or I wouldn't have.
That's amazing.
But the point I'm trying to make is that you can't put everything on one person. Even with all of the efforts and with the excellence of the
Because
friendship
the emotion's in you. And
Yeah, man.
and that resonates
Yeah.
with them. Yeah, it gets hard.
There
doesn't
we
it?
go. So without her, thank God for her, like she was like a guardian angel.
That's
And
crazy.
she still was for many years after. But the point I'm trying to make is that within university, dude, I just felt a disconnect, man. And the big thing that exacerbated was that depression. So then as I said, I lived for those years somewhat frozen. I wasn't there properly. I was getting good grades and I was teaching myself stuff. I learned Spanish, I learned French. I was going hard, bro. But the point I'm trying to make is that as a person, I didn't do much growth. I didn't. I would almost say my personal growth was on pause.
Really?
I didn't grow because I didn't want to indulge.
Even though you were learning languages and piano and you were getting on with your grind? I mean, there's a lesson in everything, isn't
I
there?
guess that's a good point. It taught me how to work hard, irrespective of what's going on around you. I definitely developed the whole Rolling Stone, gathers no moss energy.
Ooh, I like that.
I became a Rolling Stone. You know where I'm coming from? I became almost like aggressively focused. When I wanted to achieve something, nothing could stand in my way, which you could argue has backfired at other points in my life because it's become a bit obsessive, a bit OCD. But the point I'm trying to make is that...
But that's fine.
Yeah, that's as a creative, bro, we all have that thing in us. That
Wake up for something. Just wake up
There
for
we
something.
go, you got it. But like in terms of... as I said, I went back to my uni and I just felt a sense of like I was reliving my youth. I thought, dang, like... I wish I could do this 3 years again because I didn't do it properly at the time. You know, it's sort of an ever-revolving circle. Bro, there's nothing more existential in a way than going back to a place where you felt like you were the most important thing and just seeing that time just kept going.
Oh, bro, that is so true.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
For real.
Bro, I had this when I went back to
It's a
primary
reality,
school.
real reality
It
check.
never stops.
Yeah.
You start first year and you think, God, we matter. And the tutors love us. And second year, you matter more. And third year, you feel like the most important thing.
Yeah.
In 2 years, you come out and there's just a new third year.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they matter just as much as you did. And there's new second years and first years.
Proper perspective.
Bro, it's just that.
Yeah.
It's just that. I do think universities almost can... you can look at them as like being reflective of life, dude. People just coming through all the time. And yeah, you went there and you were there for your 3 years. And in 115 years, there'll be other people there. And you're all linked because you're all on the same timeline. But some of you are dead.
Yeah,
Some of you are still alive.
That's crazy.
It's nuts. It's nuts. The whole thing of being an alumni. Like,
You know what interested me?
yeah.
Because I was thinking I did go back to my school one time. I can't remember what it was for. And I suddenly saw my teacher old. Old. Like grey hair. Like a little bit more curvature in the back. Shit like that. And you're just like, oh, mate, you were my teacher before, but now you're human.
Yeah.
Like, yo.
Yeah, but I know
wake
it's
up.
a mad feeling, bro. I like just aging, man. Aging is a funny thing, isn't it? Just getting older.
Because it feels like the mind doesn't age.
I know. It feels like the mind doesn't age. It just has experiences that teaches it to make better. Better.
Better.
Make
See,
better.
this is now it's the role reversal. That Bournemouth slipping through there.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
No, I feel like you just go through experiences that teach you to make better decisions in your life.
Yeah.
And
That's all you got.
but your mind doesn't really stay the same. Like I understand why I made the mistakes I made. I understand it. I didn't even understand why at one point I just knew less. But the point, the thing is, I don't essentially feel that different to what I felt like at 8 years old. Do you understand what I mean?
I do.
As I hear my voice, I don't feel like, oh man, your voice is broken. Obviously it has, but the point is like, in your own soul, do you ever really feel that different unless you go... I mean, I don't even know, even if you experience trauma, what extent do you feel like a different person?
No, right. Do you feel like maybe right? Because I've had depression. Do you feel like there's? It's a bit like a virus. It's always there, laying dormant in your head.
Yeah.
There's always this potential that there is a little elephant in the corner there.
Fact.
But you just learn how to move on and recognise that it's there, and just keep going.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I mean that's the clever thing about the mind is that the things you gather actually stays with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You put it in a box and you leave it.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, and like, it's funny because I lucid dream.
Oh.
Yeah, bro. And you know what? When you lucid dream, you end up coming into anything you've maybe tried to suppress or lock away, you're going to see it. Because being in a lucid dream is literally walking around in an imaginarium, in a literal physical room of your own subconscious.
Crazy.
So you see things. Anything you try to lock away, maybe things that scared you as a youngster. For example, like when I was younger, I was really scared of German Shepherds because one tried to attack me once.
Okay, so that'll lay with you.
I had like a little, not a trauma, but a little trigger inside me for them. Nowadays, if I see them, it's not that I do that. It's just that I'm not necessarily going to allow my leg to brush its back as I walk past it. I'll walk around that lamppost.
Yeah,
sometimes, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in my dreams, I remember once having this dream. I opened the door and I was just a German Shepherd, like bro, going nuts at me. And I just stood there because I was lucid dreaming, so I knew I was dreaming. And I said to myself, so this is where I've put you. I've locked you.
What? That's mad.
It's what the mind does.
Yeah.
I just locked it away.
It's the mind.
I just locked it away, yeah. And anything that you've ever experienced is in there. It's deep in there. It's just you might never. So my uni years are in there, and I feel them coming back through even the choices I make in women. Bro, do you know what? Me and my friend had this argument, and not this argument with each other, but we made an argument to suggest that you never really get past what you were attracted to in high school, bro. That's not a comment on age. That's a comment on type of girl.
Oh, this is a subject.
Yeah.
I think you might be
Dude,
barking up the right tree.
I don't think, bro, you ever move past what it is you found most attractive in like year 10.
I got a feeling you're right.
Do you understand what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Like, I feel like your sexual awakening, providing you don't realise that you're gay or something, if you sort of like you just remain heterosexual for your whole life, as you and I have done, basically, I believe that your sexual awakening, the first one happens in year 7. Because you're around older girls.
And it's just a lot.
It's nuts, bro. So all through primary school, kiss chase, let's get married, bro. All that shit in the playground. You get to secondary school, and then suddenly you're around like literal you're 11 or 12, and there's 16-year-old girls in tight skirts and shirts, and they look incredible. You're seeing curves, you're seeing women.
Yeah.
It's not just tweenies
Yeah.
anymore.
It's just, and these are young girls, but they're big to you because you're smaller. And
Exactly.
So what you're saying, you condition your own head to the kind of preferences that you like.
I think you get some preferences based on interactions you have. So, for example, taking it to myself, when I was in secondary school, year 7 starts, I see all the older girls, I think they're beautiful, but then you can't go for the older girls, so what your mind does is it acclimates to what is in your year.
Acclimates, see, I like
Do you know what I mean?
word,
It's just a natural time, it acclimatizes, it modulates, so you sort of, everything levels out, and you go, all right, this is my year. I can look at year 8 girls, I can think about year 9 girls, I can't even whisper at year 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You understand that.
Yeah.
Unless they come to you and say, you're so cute, which did happen with me. I know it's hard to believe looking at me now, but once upon a time, girls thought I was cute as a youngster.
You're lucky you even got that.
Yeah. And basically, bro, like, I feel like in my year, there were like a couple friendships I formed with girls that became, I would say, somewhat reflective of what my eternal taste in women would be.
Wow.
To the point whereby I could almost tell you that, like, I want to say this. You have the attraction that is formed by what the world tells you to find attractive, right?
By default, yes.
Yep. So, like, the world for East Londoners, young East London black boys, told us that we got to find light-skinned girls attractive, like
Right.
mixed race girls and blah blah blah.
Like your Halle Berry's kind of things.
Halle Berry's, and then like, just bro, like, do you remember Samantha Mumba? Just general mixed race. Do you know what I mean? Like light-skinned girls. I love these references. You know what I mean, bro? Like,
it's like we're hitting these marks right now.
Old school energy, bro. You get me?
Yeah.
But like, just light-skinned girls. Lisa Mafia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
Just,
Old tight Lisa.
yeah, you know, just these beautiful light-skinned girls. And that's what was sort of shoved in our faces and everything like that. All right, cool. Everybody did find them attractive, but I don't know, maybe more because the world was telling you less than it was your own innate attraction. My own innate attraction was beginning to form through some friendships I had with certain girls.
And who were they? Give me some reference points of the kind of female models that were kind of floating the boat in reality.
In real life, so not in celebrity, right?
Yeah.
In my own world, it was often, I've got to say, black girls with a lot of attitude. A lot of attitude that sort of...
submissive. It makes you more
it
submissive.
made me feel submissive,
Yeah.
yeah, you got it. That could just, bro, could tell me what's what. That could put me in my place, that could like... You know, I was quite diminutive when I was younger. Now I'm tall and I'm muscular, whatever, yes. But when I was younger...
Bingo, win.
I wasn't then, no.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I was small and scrawny. So, like, it was easy for girls to just tell me what was what. And I'm not going to lie to you, I thought I didn't like it, but I did actually like them being able to, like... I like the attention.
Because
You know what I
they
mean?
were so dominant, and like
Yeah,
then all of a
man.
sudden you got them through your acumen.
Yeah,
Boom.
man, exactly. So then...
Oh, the
I do
challenge.
think, yeah, exactly. It was a challenge, and I do find a woman who is able to speak a mind, and it's not just limited to black girls. I really want to point that out. It's just that at that age, I was only around black girls.
Yeah. Well, how old are we talking? Like 16, 17? Maybe younger.
I'm talking even younger than I was 12, 13.
Right,
this was when my
so you were
forming. You know, I'm coming
DNA
from.
business.
Yeah, exactly. But in terms of what I'm attracted to, it's just women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Race is almost irrelevant
yeah.
to attraction. But like, what I'm trying to say, yeah, exactly. But like, in terms of the behavioural patterns, it was definitely like being able to put me in my place, knowing themselves, not being afraid to talk about sex, not being weird and squirmish about it, being quite direct in their ability to just tell me to shut up. Like, they could just tell me, shut up. Like, that kind of thing. I don't even really get annoyed at it. This is starting to sound cringy, so I'm going to just keep moving forward. The point I'm trying to make is that that's what I realised became my type, but I didn't chase that all the time because I thought I wanted a nice, sweet, sort of archetypically feminine girl. Archetypically feminine.
Yeah, I get you.
Archetypically, I'm really stereotypically feminine, I should say. Like, just does everything for you, but like, just really sweet and
English
nice
rose kind of thing.
Yeah, English rose, and that's not limited to white girls, or even black girls.
No,
black girls
yeah.
can be
English
roses.
roses, yeah, that's what I mean, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm
But
talking
then-
more like wholesome.
Sweet, wholesome, yeah. And I thought that was my thing. And I do like wholesomeness, but I would say that sweet and sensible isn't really part of what ultimately sort of is a fixed attraction point for me. I realised when I was older that, like, no, all those girls that I had these certain friendships with in secondary school that were able to put me in my place, that would flirt with me a lot as well, that could like tell me what was what, that just would argue with me, that would never have it from me. All those personality traits are actually what I find most attractive now.
Interesting.
And those formed in secondary school. And I'm not going to get
Came
into
round in
visuals.
full cycle.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the visuals doesn't matter. I think it's really important that when you got like when you're into a girl, it's like there's got to be something interesting about them.
Oh, big time.
They got to be a bit of a bitch. You know, you've got to.
Bro, put
you know
it
what I mean?
there. Put it there.
Got
I
to
know.
be.
I
Or else
agree.
you keep you on your toes.
Otherwise, it's boring.
Yeah,
That's
they
the
got to
truth.
have quirkiness. Got to be funny and just nuts
Yeah.
at the same time. I like crazies.
Yeah,
Crazies
you've got
are
to be
fun.
able to put and to also be able to butt heads with you.
Yeah.
And you've got to feel like almost good about being submissive to them. Like, yeah, she put me in my place.
Yeah, that's right.
It's an enjoyable thing.
They're a magnifying glass on your faults as well as
They do.
positives.
And though, to just sort of expand it even more, what I'm discussing here is what is essentially, in a grander sense, is what leads to sort of, and I just really want to point out, this is not an interest of mine.
It's not an interest of his.
At all,
What he's
so
about to say right
before
now is
anybody
not an
starts-
interest of his. It's just perspective.
Straight up. But I think, I'm a thinker, it's what I do, I think about everything. So like, you see what we're discussing here about girls that can make a man feel submissive,
Yeah.
put a man in his place. Don't get me wrong, you don't want to be submissive all the time. Sometimes you just want equal. Sometimes you know that you've got to put your foot down.
That's right.
But the point is, generally in their character, there is a lovely quality of them not being able to take shit. Cool?
Yeah.
That's all I mean.
Yeah.
On a
1000%.
grand sense, this is what leads people who don't really realise who they are properly sometimes can get down these deep, dark rabbit holes.
Yeah.
And I think this is what...
Well, where they become submissive, or
Well, they start getting into that
Yeah,
world
insecure.
too much. The S&M world.
oh,
I do believe that this whole thing of dominatrixes, it comes from guys who maybe... this is too unfounded, but the point I'm trying to make is that I do believe that when you don't quite have a gauge and a real hold on what it is you find attractive, you go to extreme lengths to understand it. And sometimes when those lengths get too extreme, you're in a whole universe that can almost desensitize you to the normal attraction. Like, I'm going to tell you something about myself, right? I don't watch porn, and the reason why I don't watch it is because I just don't want my mind being desensitized to what it is I love about women.
well, you know the whole no fap thing.
Yeah,
that shit's
man.
real. Like,
it's real, bro. If you don't,
no.
it makes it so much better.
Yeah.
It just does.
Yeah, it's just a discipline you just got to install.
There we go.
I've talked about this I haven't talked about it in podcasts. I talk about it to my friends. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, and we all share the same sort of thing. It's like,
Yeah,
are you
man.
fucking mad? You
Yeah.
really going to do that to yourself? Because it makes your mind think that you're getting it in abundance.
Yeah, exactly.
And you become weaker.
You
The
do become
stallion
weaker.
in you goes.
Jeez, you got it, bro. And I believe that I have life proof of this, bro. There was a time when I was like a human being. I watched porn, but I stopped. The reason why I stopped is because, as I said, it just desensitized me to the sort of the power of what a woman can be when you actually enjoy her for who she is, as opposed to who she is against the backdrop of tons of pornographic women.
Which is
It's
actually
not real.
dangerous, man, especially
Yeah,
now. Like, arguably, I don't know, but you type something in, and next thing you've got like a plethora of like loads of different shit. And I'm like, yo, you have to look up top of the shelf back in the day.
Yeah,
Didn't used to get that shit
Yep.
like that. You fucking kids up.
And this is why I advise people not to watch it. I've literally like told friends like, don't watch it. Trust me, because
Fucking kids up.
You would love being in the bedroom with your partner or with your woman or whatever it is. So much more if your mind has not been infiltrated with images of very, very unrealistic sexual situations.
Yeah, 'cause it puts a high expectation in your head. Yeah. You don't take pleasure in the act because you've already subsidised your act.
There we go. You got it, bro. And I almost, we can compare it to back to what we were saying at the beginning of the discussion about how like artists lose their potency when they sort of get. I do think that your sexual potential loses its potency when you've been diluting it with
jerking off.
Yeah, and wanking. Yeah, straight up. I think you got to just try and. Once my friend wrote a Twitter status, he said, I've stopped watching porn and started enjoying sex more. And I thought, I think many people could agree with you there.
It's true.
So, yeah.
But a lot of people see it. Not a lot of people... It's a drug. It's an endorphin rush.
It is,
it's
man.
that thing. It's like having a coffee or, having your third beer, or it's taking that drug.
Yeah.
These are all... And what we're talking about, essentially, is like addictive qualities.
It is, man. And humans, we get addicted to things so easily because we have so much that we don't need, that we therefore just chase what we want.
Yeah.
Humans, right, as a species, are scary. We've only been around for 200,000 years. The species human being is unbelievably small. Dinosaurs were here for 164 million years.
Jesus.
We haven't even lived a 32nd of the time that they were on Earth for. But look at what we've achieved in the time, though, bro.
I know.
We have achieved things that... I read this article the other day, and you know what it said in it? It said that there's probably not even other life out there.
That's what I'm saying. I've thought about it. There is, until proven, there's nothing.
There's nothing, bro.
There's nothing.
And I used to be before I used to say...
Did you see that Will Smith? Did you watch that Will Smith program about strange? I think it's called Strange Thing Called Earth or something.
No, I didn't see it.
The Strange Blue... I watched it on a plane on the way back from some show, and that's how I got the conclusion.
Yeah.
They're telling the story about the Earth and how it's formed. They talked about the dinosaurs, of course, but they were talking about, the oxygen. How oxygen is created. It's not just the green in the trees.
Yeah.
There's a whole... And how do these environments across the Earth form? How do they... It takes the sand of the Sahara to land in the basin of the forests and the blah, 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 you know what I mean?
The equation is unreal.
It's just
to make us
unlikely it could be anywhere else.
And I've read this stuff, and they just say, look, if there was other life on Earth that was more intelligent than us, dude, they would have reached us back. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's madness. It's madness to think.
In 200,000 years, we've achieved so much that some people will never even have to leave their house. If you've got enough money, you can have everything you need without having to leave your house. You can be schooled at home. You can
have your food delivered.
You can have your food delivered. You
Clean
can
if
hire
it
a
comes.
cook. Bro, honestly, you can literally live as a vegetable.
Yeah.
Something that is like almost seen as like an inferior way to live your life.
I was just going to say.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can live as a vegetable luxuriously.
Yeah. There'd be people that arguably, if they were to live, if we posed this argument to people in the 60s, the first thing they'd be like, why would you do that?
Yeah, exactly.
But nowadays, it means it gives opulence. It's like, I am that person that can afford to do that.
There we go. And I just feel like, when you consider what human beings are, it doesn't surprise me that, we are such hedonists, because we don't need as much as we have, man.
No.
Like,
it's bullshit.
We don't. Yeah, exactly. It's absolute bullshit. Like, we live without even having to consider survival. We just live.
We're not going to get eaten around the corner.
We're not.
Nothing.
Do you know what I mean?
So we've got all this tribal, primal testosterones and things that are built into us, but we're told not to behave that way.
Yeah.
Because the society we're in is now like so neutral.
So neutral. And there's even an argument to suggest that people are getting less intelligent because we've got so much that does the brain work for us that there is now no longer as much of a need to use your brain to the same extent. So like when people make arguments about how music is getting worse, Well, it's an interesting argument, but what I would say is that never before in history have musicians have to use their mind as little as they use them now.
Yeah.
That sounds so fucked,
yeah,
right?
it's fucked as
But
fuck.
they don't. There's no musician now on the planet, in my opinion, that needs to use their brain as much as. Let me think of somebody who's like Sly Stone used his brain,
Yeah.
or even like Stevie Wonder. You don't. You will have to use your brain, and I could say relatively you're using it the same way. But dude, if you think of the amount of time it took for people like Sly Stone to acquire virtuosity, to reach a level of virtuosity on every instrument. If you think of how long just that takes.
Yeah.
That's a whole use of the brain that
Mad.
now is used on a laptop.
Yeah.
Laptops, the way they're designed is to make everything easier.
Does that
for
make
us.
people? Should people define themselves as artists based on that factor?
No, I wouldn't. I would say you're an artist. If you're an artist, I think you could literally do nothing but count numbers all day and still be an artist. I believe that artist is a type of person. It's not based on what you've done.
I think you're right.
Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
I do think it's.
I have a
creative
love
as a
hate.
type of person.
I have a love hate relationship, and it's really hard on a podcast because I get different generations coming here,
Yeah.
people of different walks of life, and we talk about all sorts of stuff. But when the music thing gets thrown up, sometimes it can be really biased, and people have this presumption that music has to be a certain way, and being a creative you have to do a certain thing.
Yeah.
But we're all full of stereotypes, and we all have different stereotypes. It's really hard to. I don't always agree with it. But it gets to the point where I'm like, well, I'm not going to challenge it. I challenged it on the last podcast.
Yeah.
It's like, what you've said there, I totally and utterly agree.
Yeah.
Categorically.
Yeah.
It's like you aren't going to... I hope they don't create another Stevie Wonder. You can't create another Michael Jackson.
You can't. It's impossible.
People are working within their environments and technology and the circumstances of the world, and that's how the best things are created. So where maybe they might be forfeiting the 24,000 hours of playing 3 different instruments, they have other things that they've got.
They do it in other ways, and they're able. So the thing I really want to point out here. This has brought us back to another point. I like the way this conversation is happening. We're kind of going off on one tangent, and then we're sort of taking a trampoline back all the way to where we started. All right, so I was at something where somebody was saying that they think all music today is shit, and they said to me, "Music today is shit. There's no more." And I remember earlier when I spoke, I didn't say that we don't have musicians that are talented anymore, who can't make music great. I just said I question the extent to which they'll need to use their resources and their facilities as much as people like Stevie Wonder, who it took years to acquire virtuosity, blah, 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 attain virtuosity, blah, blah, blah. But what I'm trying to say is I definitely don't think music's crap now.
Neither do I.
Dude, you check my fucking Spotify playlist. I listen to shit from now and from the past. You get me? And like somebody was saying that they think music's crap. They said, no, Stevie Wonder. They went James Brown. They said Pavarotti. These were real musicians. They said what we have now is rubbish. And I said, so are you trying to tell me that there is nothing musicians of today do better than musicians of the past? They said they looked at me and with their chest looked me directly in my eye and categorically said nothing. And I went, well, you're wrong. Deeply wrong about one thing. They said, what? I said, you can have all the arguments about today versus the past as much as you want. People have golden age syndrome and they can never get past what happened in their
Golden
time.
age syndrome.
It's a big thing. You know, I'm coming from golden age syndrome is there. But one thing you can never argue with me on is this. And for me, this is like mathematics in terms of how simple and clear it is.
School them. Tell them.
Musicians of the past might have been fantastic. They might have been more gifted on instruments. They potentially were better songwriters. I could argue that over time, it gets harder and harder to write songs because all the songs have gone.
Yeah.
I could argue that there are only a certain amount of songs possible to write. Yeah. Now there aren't because we can make up a song now, but I could bet you we'll find something similar to it. Very, very quickly.
Easy, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's a simple fact of life. So I would even say that part of the reason why maybe they were better songwriters in the past is because the songs weren't there to be written yet. Now they've been written.
There you go.
So we get into this age and anybody who wants to write a song is thinking, I want to write something with the vibe of the Beatles yesterday. Well, that's the point. You see what I'm coming from?
Yeah.
But this is why creating new genres is such a thing, like creating grime, because it's never been done before.
Yeah, exactly.
But
and it opens a different thought process into saying the same things but in different ways.
Exactly.
Using the technology in a different way.
There we go.
Right.
And also, let's just point out that every single time new genres come out, like jazz is now held in the same esteem as classical music now, right?
Yeah.
But when jazz first came to fruition, it was really disliked by the establishment.
Because it was so new and raw.
There we go, which tells us a lot because now jazz is literally like
Pretty much.
it's classical, isn't it?
It's
Let's
out
be
there.
honest.
Well, it's so worldly known. It's its own institution.
It's an institution, just as classical music is. You know where I'm coming from. But let me sort of tighten up the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
So the one thing that musicians of the past can't do as well as musicians now is create vibe. The musicians of now are vibe masters. Just vibe, dude. I'm telling you that if you and I just wanna smoke some weed together, and put on a good song. All right, don't get me wrong. You had Hendrix, right? You have people that you could vibe to. I could say that I could vibe to Human League. I could argue that I could vibe to Enya. But the point I'm trying to make is that that's not mainstream, and it never was. Human League was.
Yeah.
But the quality of the music is quite in your face. It's out there. It gets right into your ears. You can't hide from it.
And also, it was designed. It was also in part designed for the techers, the people that were interested in how the fuck did Martin Rushton do that fucking snare? How did he do that synth? Because it was so ahead of its time.
There we go.
You can't chill on that.
You can't chill on it. Whereas now, bro, the music that Travis Scott makes, the music that Ray Shremmerd makes, the music that Post Malone makes, vibe. Skepta, now, vibe.
Yeah.
Bro, these are artists that are making music with so much vibe. As in, you just got that, the trap drums, simple trap drums, nothing too loud and in my face, just a nice sort of, you got the hi-hats, that 808s, bro, the synth, the pad, and the sort of the ghostly vocals, processed to fuck, with the like dripping in bloody reverb and all that shit. They put their little auto-tune effect on it. All right, cool. Somebody might go, oh, it's auto-tune, it's shit, but it creates a different vibe.
That's right.
It's somewhat otherworldly.
Try doing if the artists of the 70s and 80s knew the technology, they would have done it the same.
Yes, they would have done, factually, because they used the synth when it came out and they used the talk box.
And humans are fucking lazy.
Yes.
They had to use that shit because they didn't have anything else. Vibe because, and I want to add to this, vibe is there because of the speed in which they can create now.
Yeah.
The vibe is retained all the way through. In fact, they know sooner whether they've lost their perspective on a tune quicker than anybody in any generation of music. They just know. Right? And that's why I think songs are coming out in abundance and the way it's consumed is even greater because I'm going to smoke this or I'm going to drink this. I want Oasis of now or I want fucking Cypress Hill of now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is, there's a song for everything.
And bro, this is why I love Travis Scott. This is why I'm a big Travis Scott fan because, dude, his music for me is just vibes on deck. Like, I'll put the song on, and what the song does immediately is it becomes a soundtrack to my thoughts. Do you understand what I mean? Or a soundtrack to the energy that I'm feeling. But not in a way that I can't put on Michael Jackson, She's Out of My Life. Do you understand?
No.
Different...
It's a different mood.
Yeah, bro, like, it's all about the existential in-between moments, bro. Me and my boy, we always talk about the in-between moments.
Yeah.
You see what I'm talking about? The existential moments. I'm going to give you an example, right?
Is this the same boy that was talking about the girl factor?
Yeah,
Who's
I got
this
a brethren.
person?
His name's Sal Ali. He's a filmmaker. He's very dope.
I'll touch
and
Sal
he is
Ali's.
I would say I have two partners in philosophy.
Yeah.
My actual blood brother, Raptum, the rapper who's dope. Yeah, go and check out Raptum on Spotify.
Raptum, son.
Raptum. He's got a show coming up in Hoxton, Colours. I think it would have happened by then. Anyway, as we were saying,
Go check it out.
my two philosophies in my two partners in philosophy are my boy Saula and my brother, my blood brother, same parents, Raptum. And we sit and we just discuss ideas and theories. And I've got one other one, Jasmine, my girl, my sister, Jasmine. I love her. And like, all of us, respectively, sit down and we discuss ideas and theories and, thought patterns and philosophical ideas, and we just enter schools of thought and we discuss behavioral patterns and things that happen and the way people think behind everything. We just always discuss essentially the human condition in many different ways. And me and my boy, Saula, we have this thing where we discuss like in-between moments. Yeah. This is all existentialism. All right, so there's a girl that I meet somewhere. It could be a club, it could be a town square, it could be whatever. The point is, myself and this lady get talking. I find her very physically attractive, cool. and she finds me quite physically attractive. In my heart of hearts, I know the main reason for which I'm speaking to her is that I want to have sex with her. But the nature of human attraction is that sometimes before being able to just have sex with somebody, you've got to prove that your personality combines well with theirs.
Yeah.
And to be honest, you almost want the same thing from them. But the truth is, there is a little side of men that is actually content with just anonymous sex. That is the truth. Like, men do just find the mystery
Facts.
of that very attractive. But hey, look, the point is, you have some interactions, you know where I'm coming from, and blah, blah, blah. You start talking on WhatsApp, whatever it may be. And what you find through the conversation is that you get on kind of well, right? For you, this is just a means to an end. It's the sort of the route you must take in order to get her to your bed. For her, it's more of, it's far more a building of chemistry. Anyway, you meet up, maybe you go on a date, and then she comes to your house. And it goes so well that you end up having sex with each other, right? Here's the thing. After you finish having sex, something in your heart of hearts knows that she wants more from you than just sex. Something in you knows, I was just enjoying myself. But there is a potential. I'm not saying this is all, and I'm talking about one specific circumstance, but maybe she wants more from me. Here's the thing. The experience you've just had with that girl, you had it 2 days before with another girl. You're going to have another experience of an identical nature in 2 days' time with another girl. So as special as this one circumstance feels, you know that it's something you experience quite a lot. And so then when you finish having sex and she's lying on that bed, and she's asleep maybe, you look at her and something in you goes, is what I'm doing wrong? You ask yourself that question.
You start to rattle, don't you?
You start to want, and bro, it's an existential moment of reckoning where you just go, am I abusing human nature in a way here? You wonder. And that's when Travis Scott music. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Oh my God, no,
it's
you
the
just...
in-between moment.
That is so deep. That's like putting a fine pinprick into the markings of what a genre and a sound and an artist, when to play.
All of
or
them.
listen.
Post
Wow.
Malone, Travis Scott, their music, it fits those moments in between the moments.
And you can't know when...
Yeah.
No other time in the planet would music be so...
Exactly.
Specifically
There
designed.
we go, man. Or like another example is like
Wow.
you've been on a night out and you got high as fuck on some drug, and then the come down. The music that these guys make fits come down so well. They have songs for the height of the drug, but then they have songs for the come down. And the songs for the come down aren't some like some dreary shit. They're melodically so potent. It's like they hit every synapse there is a come down just through the notes in the music.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm coming from?
And I've never had it so well described.
Yeah, bro, this is what
You go deep with your peoples.
Me and my guys, bro, we philosophize all the time, man. It's because, I don't know, bro, I could say that being an actor and the fact that all I do is act for a living, it means that when I'm not acting, I'm just thinking. And my friends are creators as well. My brother is a rapper and producer.
Do you feel like
My
you
boy
get
is a
you get handed
filmmaker.
the script, you get handed the thing? Do you think that it's a level of restriction? I mean, obviously there's a creative play within it, but I can imagine that for a brainiac, for like you kind of you need more space to do this.
You got
shit.
it. Killa Kela, you work me out, bro. I love acting, but do I think it's the premium form of artistic expression? No. Not at all.
No, but it's an awesome exercise on disciplines, isn't it?
It is, and it's a great way to sort of like understand the human mind, man. Because every different writer is writing from their own perspective.
Yeah, talk to me about that, because I've got a couple of scriptwriter friends, and they're constantly... One particular, my boy Trip, he's very much... He'll think about the characters to the point that he knew what they ate 10 years ago. It's that detail. How with, like I say, you think a lot, you do a lot of this. You must think, okay, how do I really get into this geezer or this character?
Characters.
Yeah.
All right, so, bro, I come from myself all the time. Look, I'm going to say this now. To any actor listening, this is a fact of life. There is no character that you can read on the page that is anywhere near as interesting as who you are. Why? Because even if it's a biopic, nobody that's written on the paper is real. I am more interested than Hamlet, Lear, and Othello put together. I'm real. I'm here.
There you go.
They're not.
Boom.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I've got more experience than any of those characters because they're just writing and drawings. I'm here, bro. I'm not being written right now. One day I'll be dead and someone will write about me, and then whoever's playing me will be more interested than me because I won't be alive anymore.
Isn't that crazy to think?
You know what I mean? It's just the truth. So whenever I play any character, dude, my immediate point, not all the time, but definitely from now, as in contemporarily speaking, it's always, how does this character resonate within me? How do I resonate within the character? And how can we make sure that the layers of existence I have, the layers of character, charisma, personality, charm, understanding, intelligence, life experience, can be drawn on effectively to infuse this character with enough life to make it a real, existent person. That's all I'm trying to go for. You know, there's an interesting thing to consider. Sometimes actors might overthink about a character, blah, blah, blah. Oh, like, how can I do this? How can I do this? How can I do that? It's important to remember that as an actor, you're a human being, you're an adult, right? If you're an adult. If you tell me to say any line, say the line is, look, just leave that alone. I don't have to think too much about how to say that. Do you know why? Because I'm not a dog speaking, bro. It's not that you're going to go, how did it say that?
Yeah.
If I'm at a bus stop and somebody comes up to me to ask me for the time, I don't check how they said it to make sure I think they're genuine. All they come up to me and do is say, can I have the time, please? They're not like a 3-year-old doing it that shocks me. Like, how can a fucking 3-year-old ask me this? It's not an animal.
There's no
asking me.
overthinking.
It's just you're an adult. You have the ability to produce words. Just say it.
So it's the same with acting. It's the same.
Dude, not entirely, but what I would definitely say is that once you've done the necessary amount of character research, you understand your character, and once you understand the meaning and intention of every line, the best thing to do is not overthink, and just speak. You're not a ketchup bottle speaking, where people go, how the hell can a ketchup bottle speak? You're a grown person who's here, so I expect you to say something. Just say what's been written down.
Do you know what's interesting when you say that? And this is only like comparable to like the live show, the podcast live show. The best moments I feel in the show, looking at me, you know, analytically, like, and really like with a conscious of like, how am I behaving? What are my mannerisms? And, you know, because, you know, there's a level of sincerity that you kind of want to find a balance of.
Yeah.
You don't always know the guests, or you don't always, you're not always briefed on certain things, that the way it's going to play out and things. I think some of the best moments I find are ones when I'm not thinking.
Dude.
You just look so natural and you're just on it. And it's like, that for me is like the zeitgeist. That's the Goldilocks zone where I really want it to be like that all the time, because you're at your natural core. And it's so hard, isn't it?
Well, bro, I love the fact you said that, because obviously I recently finished working with Guy Ritchie on a film called Cash Truck. Catch it in cinemas.
What's it called? Cash Truck?
Cash Truck, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
gonna be
shit.
fun. And I've got a good little role in it. And dude, he does so much improv. Do you want to know why he does so much improv? Because he wants to capture things in the heat of the moment. Sometimes when you spend so much time learning lines, all you've done is practice the moment over and over again in your room. Like, for example, as an interviewer, if you knew too much about the person, or in fact, no, I'm really going to say this. If you know too much about somebody you're interviewing, bro, then why are you asking questions?
Dude, I agree.
Do you know what I mean?
The cue cards kind of, they're deemed irrelevant if you're striking I think it's mostly for some people, they're just not like you. Like when we chat, it's like we're having bands.
Yeah.
Some people, they're not always like that.
Yeah, and it's hard to find a
hard to
zone
find
of flow
that,
with
yeah.
them, right?
But
You
I
know, that's
know.
like a concept, flow. In like Oriental sort of like philosophy, there's this concept called flow, which is when something is just moving in perfect motion, when the challenger and the task are met at the perfect level.
So this is an actual thing.
It's a concept called flow. It's a concept in Oriental philosophical studies, and it's this idea that
used too liberally in the West, I'm saying. Wow.
Yeah, I know, flow. But if you think of even when a rapper is flowing, what makes you feel like the rapper is flowing is when you got the beat and you got the rapper and they're at perfect synchronicity. That's flow. I can have a rapper doing crazy flows, but they don't match the beat properly. So then nobody's going to go, yo, his flow's sick. Even a drummer is only at flow when that shit is how it's found its steady pace. So
It's kind of mindless. It's
There we
also
go.
living in the moment.
in the moment, bro. You know Chic, yeah, the band
Yeah, of
Chic.
course, yeah.
They got a song, Everybody Dance. Bro, that's all live drums.
What?
He's famous. That drummer,
I had no idea.
Whole track, bro. Whole track.
I had no idea.
Bro, I listen to this man's drums obsessively. I'm not a drummer, but I'm so impressed by how he drums and sounds like a metronome. But it's complex, bro. He's doing open hi-hats. He's doing, flipping drum riffs. He's doing everything
He's in the zone.
holding a perfect tempo. That's flow, bro. Now, coming back to that, sometimes when you're improving, sometimes, not all the time, you're in perfect flow. Sometimes when it's like the scene is this and you're told to improv, and sometimes you and the scene, i.e. the challenger and the task, meet at perfect level. Just meet at perfect level.
It's cold.
Flow is a beautiful thing, Shout out, rest in peace to Kobe Bryant, whose flow on the basketball court was...
I saw this Bruce Lee documentary with Kobe Bryant. My
flow.
When you were talking, I mean, you said Kobe, and I was like, geez, he was on that. He was on that documentary.
Yeah.
When I think of flow, I think Bruce Lee.
Yeah, it does. And bro, another full circle thing, maybe drugs, sometimes, like the weed as a drug, what it does, the reason why people love it is it puts you in your flow. Essentially, all it does is it lowers your inhibitions. So you don't have a fear of people around you or yourself judging yourself with too much scrutiny for what you're doing. So like, if I go into the booth as a rapper, if I'm high, because my inhibitions are lowered, I'm going to perform with far more freedom. And I won't care about other people's judgment. And also, I will not allow myself to be open to critique from myself. I just enjoy, right? But then sometimes when you're not, it takes longer to get to the place where your inhibitions are lowered. So sometimes creators do use drugs to lower their inhibitions quickly so they can just enjoy it, right? And that's a fact. But here's the thing, that's flow. That's what you're trying to achieve is flow.
Ultimately, you're trying to create flow.
There we go, because if you got the task and you're the challenger, if you're afraid of judgment, you as a challenger aren't meeting the task.
Oh,
You're not meeting the task. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Now, the dark side of drugs is when they kill your flow. When you as a challenger naturally aren't at the same level as the task anymore. Or, more specifically, you're not able to gauge the level of the task. I.e., the rapper, give him a beat and he writes too much. And he's flowing like 100 million words a second. You're like, it didn't need this much.
It's too staccato, it's too rigid.
We go.
It's almost like computerized.
There
it's
we
like,
go.
Like
and you're just like, no, trust me, it is possible to rap this like Q-Tip, electric relaxation, right?
Oh my God.
Flow. Other rappers might have written too many words to that beat, because they're thinking they've got to really body the beat. But Q-Tip's flow was in such lock that you give him the and he just, honey, check it out, you got me mesmerized. He doesn't need to do much more.
Do anything.
Flow.
Oh my God.
You get me?
Yeah.
Flow.
It's not rocket science. It's just sometimes the space is everything.
Space.
And this is where drugs, I guess, contrary to what we started off with, that's where this is the bug to the flame.
Yeah, big time.
The drug is like to have something that chills you out and mellows you out and gives you a sense of now. Yeah. That's the shit.
It is big time. And I do believe this is why so many artists use it, because it lowers your inhibitions, and it means that ideas flow more freely through your head. So that you can sit on the mic and literally come up with a song right there. Whereas if you're feeling inhibited, you're thinking, if I write that, it might sound a bit shit.
Yeah, and they overanalyze.
Yeah. You can only come up, there's certain lines that rappers say that you think, you couldn't have come up with that if you were like being too critical with yourself. Like,
you just kind of know, don't you?
Yeah.
That took some sort of aiding, or that took some sort of like clarity.
Yeah, it did. And sometimes those tongue-in-cheek moments in music and everything, like, it does make a point about sometimes taking yourself too seriously. And the thing about doing something like improv, coming back to the Guy Ritchie film, he used to love actors improving, come up with scenes in a moment. He told me to improvise. Who knows if it'll make the movie? But at one point, he told me to improvise like a 55-second monologue about another character dying.
Unscripted.
Yep. He just said, get on the phone and improvise
so
something
sick.
about the character dying and you needing the police.
Oh, fucking big up Guy Ritchie, that's fire.
Yeah. Dude, I didn't feel scared. I just thought, cool, I'll be 7 years old. Because as a 7-year-old, I used to play these games in my bedroom with my brothers. Guys, let's play the Scorpion King. You're this, you're that, let's go. And then you just do the scene. And you're coming up with full monologues as a 7-year-old, but you're not judging yourself, because 7-year-olds, where they have, you could argue, less standards about how to live life, they're just freer. They just do anything
and they're not
they want to
prohibited
do.
by creative barriers and
there we go.
rules.
I love the fact you just said that, because, myself and my brother, maybe 2 years ago, had this talk in which we said the creative potential of and this is a known fact, but I'm just adding something to it, that when you're younger, your creative potential is far higher, right? And as you get older, and Picasso was somebody who was a big believer in this as well. Your creative potential just gets lower and lower and lower because you develop more inhibitions and you develop more ideas and standards and thought patterns about the world that act as barriers to sort of complete and utter creative freedom.
Compounds you.
Here's the thing though, my bro. As you get older, you also develop the ability to do things. So your ability to conceive sharpens. So a kid cannot be in full understanding of anything it's doing. It can be, but like if a kid makes an incredible painting that just looks incredible and everybody goes, that's instinct, it's just instinct, it's instinct. The kid can never sit down and really analyse you properly what's happening, whereas an adult can. So the trick as a creative it's to have all the skills that you acquire with age and the ability and the eventual virtuosity and everything while still maintaining the freedom of a child.
The naivety of a child.
Exactly.
Playing a serious play. So
exactly.
you're playing, but you're doing it seriously.
Yep.
Yeah. That as time goes on, as we get older, some quicker circumstances than other people's, life happens. You know what I mean? Family things happen and accidents or other. You know, things that you were beyond your control. Next thing you're homeless. Shit like that is real.
Yep.
And some people use that to power their creativity. Others use it as a burden, and it ultimately, knocks out their flame.
It does, man. It really does. And my whole thing as a creative is I just try to stay... How do I stay young? I read a lot, dude.
Read a lot, yeah.
Since a young age, bro, I've been an encyclopedia fanatic. I always want to know things. I always want information. This is why I've got so much general knowledge. You know what I mean? Because I've always been interested in information. But the thing is, it keeps me young. Dude, I'll break it down. This is the kind of person I am. I went up with a friend the other day. She's from East Finchley. We went up in Angel. I live in North London, but my mum and my family generally live in Leighton, where I was born and raised. And as we were going home, I just said to myself, I said to her, how long is it going to take you to get home? She goes, about 25 minutes. She said, what about you? I said, yeah, roughly the same. And I just said to myself, geographically, what's closer to Angel? Leighton in East London or Finchley in proper North London?
North, yeah.
And I wondered. And I said to myself, and little something in my heart made me think that Leighton would be closer. Because I just thought, I know Angel's North London, but it's so close to Central London and leaning towards the east that maybe somewhere in East London will be closer. Anyway, I got home and Googled it and I was wrong. The answer was that each of them is exactly 1 hour and 44 minutes walk away from Angel. But I know that now. Whereas I didn't know that. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Now, that information will not help anybody in life. But this is the thing. I know it.
Because you're interested.
Because I just want to know, for my own sake. I just like to know things, bro. I'm interested in understanding things. You know, like Kensal Rise and Kensal Green and, why some of Kensal Green is W10 versus all of Kensal Rise being W10.
Mad.
Just small things like that. Not that is like an example of the kind of things I search, but the point I'm trying to make is that I look into things all the time, and whether that's philosophy, nature, human beings, geography, something about sport. Trust me, I can engage in a conversation with a lot of people on a multitude of topics because I read about so many random things. That's how I stay young. I'm inquisitive. I'm deeply inquisitive.
Fire.
You get me, bro?
Yeah, cool.
That's how I stay young. I'm deeply inquisitive. I never feel like I know enough. I always want to know more. Always want to know more.
That's why podcasts are great.
They are.
It opens like this, like crazy debates, like conversations that I wouldn't normally have on any given day.
Yeah.
Boom, in the pocket,
Dude, I'm telling you, man. And another way I stay young, and I think a lot of people can relate to this, is by keeping myself free of any influence that makes me feel like I've got to be less of who I am than I am.
So important.
That's a big thing, bro, for me.
But that's a strength of character. You've got, even in those situations where you feel slightly compromised, you've got to remind yourself who you are.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be a fight. That's just a fact.
Dude, I'm telling you, if you've lost the ability to say no with conviction, you're not a child anymore. If you've lost your ability to say no with conviction, you've lost your inner child. Because children, when they do not want something, Charlie, do you want spaghetti? No! A kid will tell you no without. You know what teaches people to stop saying no? It's being told you're being rude as a child if you say no.
And it's also, the word no is derogative to offending someone's feelings.
Exactly.
it's a negative.
But kids don't care. When they don't want something, I've got a little son, he's 2. If I'm trying to feed him something he doesn't want, if I tell him, kick the ball, Emma, kick it. Right, if he doesn't want to kick it, he's not kicking it. And you know what? If you keep trying to make him kick it, he'll cry, as in he'll throw a tantrum. That's it. His no is his no and his yes is his yes. And that's kids for you. What did you think of that party, Tommy?
Don't like it.
Didn't like it. What did you think of the party? I loved it. You know they're being honest with you. And I do believe that is... I mean, then eventually kids learn to lie, and then that becomes a skill.
Because they know they get something.
There we go. But I just think that when you're at a point where you can't say no properly, you got a problem. And you know, when I was younger, right? I've definitely been the kind of person that's been guilty of letting people bully me into do certain things. But I've rediscovered my inner child, bro, and I've just become so much more clinical with my life. Like, children don't hold on to friends. When it's time for a child to move to another area, the child accepts it. Like, no matter what, you just
kind of moves on, right?
And you don't keep talking to your friends from high school. Billy, they can be your pen pal. All right, cool. They'll be my pen pal for like, a month, and then you made new friends.
Yeah.
We've got to move like that as adults. Yeah. We've got to move like this as adults. Because sometimes you might have people in your life who actually have somewhat a damaging effect on your self-esteem, who make you feel like you've got to like be a bit wary of things you say, who make you feel like the person you are is not suitable to every situation, and therefore you've got to adapt all the time. People like that make you feel shit about yourself, that can't support you properly, that always offering critique, advice. They're always offering so-called advice, but really it's just critique and someone trying to make you almost like bring you down.
Down yourself. Sometimes
they're doing it for the reasons of envy. Sometimes they feel like the only way to maintain any power in the friendship is to have you be the inferior, especially if you're doing well in your life. Anyway, if you have people in your life that are anything that are conducive to any of the sentences I've just spouted, then you've got to cut them off.
I agree.
Because the truth of the matter is, those people are stopping you from being an inner child, and they're stopping you from living freely. If you look back on your time spent with those people, you realise you've wasted fuckloads of time.
Oh my God. Yeah, I bet. I have no doubt about it.
And I've made myself a promise, Killa Kela.
Yeah.
No more time gets wasted.
I'm with you.
Bro.
No more time.
No more.
Because you'll never win, and B, they'll never learn.
There we go. If the kind of inner child they are is a school bully, then let them be that.
Yeah.
But you've got to be like, but we're not in a school playground, so you can't bully me. Sorry, you got to keep it stepping and be you. And anything that makes you feel like you got to be less of you, it does not matter how long it's been in your life. Tell it to fuck off.
Yeah.
Tell it to fuck off.
Right.
Because as I said, I look back on some of my uni days and say, shit, I lost time. I am not losing any more time. Bro.
You're now in this prime.
Bro, big
Alessandro Babalola is in his prime right now.
Hell yeah, man. And I want to be in the prime for the rest of my life. Bro, this is why I like Kanye West. I know everybody has problems with him, but bro, his boldness, how much he speaks his mind. Yes, okay, sometimes he's just looking for controversy. Sometimes it's a form of promotion. But the point is, bro, he's like a big child. He just says it.
Totally.
What he feels comes out. Do you know what I'm coming
from?
It. And I rate that so much, bro. He's like my idol. Like, Kobe Bryant just passed away, and he was some people's idol. He was my favourite basketball player, but he wasn't my idol. In terms of, my idol is, in truth, my mum, because of the fact that she's the hardest worker and, like, the biggest life force I've ever come across in my life. But, like, outside of, like, personal idols, in terms of, like, celebrities, not idols, but influences and inspirations, Kanye West is my biggest one.
I'm kind of up there with you, bro.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Pharrell and Kanye.
I saw the picture of you and Pharrell.
Yeah.
You and your boy Pharrell.
Yeah.
Kanye, he's free.
Yeah, he is.
He's free, bro. He said, and you know what? Being a free thinker, it should be your whole goal, bro.
No, that's right. It should be, and like, but people take his literal for offense, and that does my head in.
I know,
because
he's
actually ahead. He's in very much a European mindset.
Yeah, man.
America is still a young country, and what he's saying is too much for him.
It is too much for them. And I mean, there's other people that somebody can be described as free thinkers. Like, I'm not gonna lie, Donald Trump could be described as a free thinker, but his is different. His comes from being.
It comes from a lot of agendas.
There we go. He's a
conditioned
problematic
agenda.
Yeah, there we go. He's not the one that we look at and go, yes. Yeah. Whereas Kanye West, okay, he says some fucked up things sometimes, but the truth is, he is a free thinker. He's free, just the same way Bob Dylan was.
Yeah.
Spoke out.
And it'll only be, hopefully not too soon, it'll only be when he goes, that he will be known.
I know.
He will be respected and seen as actually the thing that he's always wanted to be. But people are so backwards.
Is Wiley the closest thing we have to Kanye West in England? Because I think Wiley's a free thinker.
He's a free thinker.
I think Wiley's freeing everybody. You see other artists, I see them do interviews and they're constantly checking themselves.
Wiley is a danger to the system.
Oh, big time.
In the same way, no, not Tupac, but there's
I know what you mean about Tupac though, bro. Very, 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 very good
dangerous.
point.
He's
just free. It's like there's no filter, bro.
Yeah.
Whatever he wants to say comes out.
Yeah.
Bro, that's how I am too.
Yeah.
Trust me.
You
I'm
have
the
to
same
be.
way, yeah.
And more power to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because
And I used to be the kind of person that wouldn't, and I'll let sort of people like edge me different ways, but it's impossible to edge me anyway now.
No. Because you're settled. You got it together. You know what you're doing. It's been a pleasure chatting to you, my
Bro,
brother.
it's been an absolute pleasure.
Hey, we have to do it again. This is good.
Bro, hell yeah, man.
I had no idea.
Next time, maybe.
Come on, Guy.
Next time, I want to talk to you about your incredible career that makes all of my friends in music say, you know Killa Kela. I need to get into that properly.
All right, it's a deal.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah?
we'll get into this.
Pleasure, my brother.
My guy.
Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alessandro Babalola inside. What a top boy. Literally. Pleasure, brother. Thank you so much.
Nice one, man.
And where they find you?
Okay, so Instagram is alessandro.babalola.
A-L-E
ALESSANDRO
My
dot BABALOLA. Twitter is Alessandro_Babs.
Not Alexandra.
Alessandro, so ALESSANDRO_BABS. Alessandro Babs.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Now you got it, go, get it, go. Stay lucky, people. Don't talk to any strangers.
Peace.
Peace.
Think freely.
Yeah, think freely.